Good evening. On behalf of the college and faculty, we want to welcome our graduates and their families and friends. Thank you all for coming, and welcome to Flathead Valley Community College's 2023 graduation ceremony. Would you please stand for the singing of the national anthem? It is my pleasure to introduce FVCC's president, Jane Karras.
As president, I am proud to welcome you to Flathead Valley Community College's 55th commencement. And thank you all for joining us for the first time as we have commencement in the Wachholz College Center, McLaren Hall. Thanks to our great community for making this possible for our students and our community members. It is my honor to introduce to you the individuals seated on this stage. From your right to left, they are FVCC trustees, Pete Akey, Kelly Stimson, Lyle Mitchell, Mary Ruby, Patrick Gulick, Travis Steindorf, Callie Langer, the Honorable Mark Roscoe, former governor of Montana, and Vice President of Instruction and Student Services, Dr. Chris Klaus. Before we begin, please join me in a moment of silence for those men and women who have served and are serving our country overseas and across the U.S. Thank you. Tonight, more than 268 students will be receiving 288 degrees and certificates. The author, Ursula K. Le Guin, once said, "It is good to have an end to journey toward, but it is the journey that matters in the end." While at FVCC, you began this journey to expand your horizons. Through your education, you gained experience and knowledge about the world. After tonight, you will be taking the next steps on your journey. As you go forward, remember that education is the foundation on which our society is built. It opens our minds to new perspectives, ideas, and experiences, helping us become more well-rounded and empathetic people. Continue to challenge yourself on your journey. Continue to discover and grow. This journey is never ending, and it is a journey that none of us makes alone. Many of you attended FVCC while juggling your family and work responsibilities. Everyone received support, whether it was financial support from your family or a scholarship donor, assistance from a faculty member or tutor, time spent with a study group, someone to babysit while you took a class or studied for an exam, an employer who was willing to be flexible so you could attend classes, a shoulder to cry on, someone to buy you lunch or maybe even a beer, or someone who always knew you would succeed. Your family and friends, and yes, even some strangers, have helped you reach your goal tonight. We also celebrate our family, friends, faculty, and staff who have supported us and inspired us to be more than we think we can be. I encourage you, our students and graduates, to remember that education is a never-ending journey. Whatever the next step on your path, never forget the importance of education in shaping your life and the world around you. Congratulations, graduates, on your achievements. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
It is my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Raina Satner. Raina is a criminal justice major involved in the honors program at FVCC. She is currently a member of PTK and the recipient of the 2023 New Century Pathway Scholar. Raina has been president of FVCC Student Government since the summer of 2022. Currently, through the college, Raina is in the Reserve Officer Training for Flathead Sheriff's Office. After graduating, she intends to pursue a bachelor's degree in criminology, criminal justice, forensic science, and forensic psychology, with the goal of eventually attending law school. Raina plans to have a career in federal or state law enforcement as a criminal profiler or in military law through the U.S. Army. Please welcome Raina Satner.
Thank you. Congratulations, graduates of 2023. Demanding deadlines, suffering social lives, and tearful 2 a.m. study sessions no longer hold power over you. You made it. This season of your life has come to an end, and you now stand on the precipice of your future with many decisions before you. Remember that success does not come in the absence of poor choices and failure. Everything you do gives you experience, and experience can never be taken away from you. It is something you will perpetually build, and it will continuously teach you should you choose to remain open-minded and learn from it. Experience has taught me the importance of 3 things. Number 1, consistency. The discipline to hold yourself accountable and always show steady progress. Disney's nostalgic masterpiece, Meet the Robinsons, produced a simple yet profound message: keep moving forward. When life sucks, keep moving forward. When you don't want to, keep moving forward. No matter what, keep moving forward. That is consistency. Number 2, standards. Keep them high, the ones you hold yourself to and the ones you hold others to. Focus on becoming your best version. Know your worth and protect it. And also remember those who invested in you and thank them by becoming the most successful you can be, and also associating with only the people that sharpen your character. Lastly, number 3, impact. As willing or unwilling participants in society, you are seen. Lead by your example. Life may be short, but it holds great value. Use every second to have the most impact you can on this world. Friends, you have been blessed with the ability and opportunity to achieve great things. The season of your life is concluding. However, do not stop. Allow yourself time to recover, but never stop seeking knowledge and gaining experience. This chapter, while it may be over, will always be in your book. No one can take that from you. Your experiences are yours forever. Take life one decision at a time, and remember, there is no losing. There is only winning, and then substantially delayed and inconvenient winning. What is familiar is now behind you, and it can be a scary feeling. I wish for you to begin this new journey unafraid and encouraged. So allow me to share a favorite poem of mine by William Ernest Henley, titled Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. As you are standing on this daunting precipice, I implore you to step with power. Your life is yours moving forward. Stride with boldness. God bless each and every one of you in this free country. Your freedom and grace in Him was bought with someone else's blood. With that, make the most out of the life you were given. Here's to you and your new journey. Congratulations, class of 2023.
Thank you, Raina. Our faculty speaker was selected by Faculty Senate. Christina Railier received her PhD in stream ecology from Idaho State University and has been a natural resources, conservation, and management professor at FVCC since 2009. She teaches many ecology and forestry courses and advises natural resources, forestry, wildlife, and Parks and Rec students. She was very fortunate to have conducted stream research for many years in Yellowstone National Park, Frank Church Wilderness, Sawtooth Wilderness, Buffalo National River in Arkansas, and many national forests in Idaho and Montana. She has also been the director of the honors program at FVCC for many years. When not at school, you can find her in the woods hiking with her dogs and looking for insects. Please welcome our faculty speaker, Christina Railier.
Hello. On behalf of the faculty, I would like to offer you our congratulations and a big thank you for attending our classes, learning from us, doing your homework, and passing the exams so that you could arrive at this point and get your college degree. This speech contains information about worms, patty melts, chemistry, and ChatGPT. It is just shy of 10 minutes, so I don't get the hook, and it's a bit like poetry or perhaps physics, and that I'm not entirely sure what it means, even though I wrote it at least the first 8 minutes. So let me begin. In 1956, a Harvard psychologist, George Miller, published a paper that said the average human can hold 7 plus or minus 2 objects in our short-term memory. That means on a good day, you might rock remembering 9 things, and on a not so good day, you're only good for 5. Well, this is the end of the semester, and we're tired, right? So I'm only going to tell you 3. 3 lessons I learned over this semester, because I believe 3 is probably all we have room for right now. So here's the first thing to remember. You can learn a lot from worms. I'm trained as an ecologist and more particularly as an entomologist, so I notice the little guys. I've been known to stop and watch ants for longer than necessary, to look for beetles in trees also for longer than necessary, and to pick up earthworms from parking lots, impervious surfaces if you're one of my students. So if you were on campus earlier this week, you will know we had a downright earthworm apocalypse on the sidewalks and the parking lots. That's hard for someone like me because the magnitude of the earthworms that needed help was more than I could handle. I felt discouraged. I got a little mad at the earthworms for choosing the wrong path. But then I learned something. An idea started shaping in my head. It wasn't possible for me to help every earthworm on campus, but I decided I could remove all the earthworms off one sidewalk block and that I could do that every day that it rained. I still had to walk that gauntlet between LRC building and Ross Hall where it was the worst, but I knew my square over by the business building was earthworm free. So this is one thing you can learn from worms. There will be times when you'll be overwhelmed, when the problem just seems too big, or the world isn't how you would like it to be, but just pick a square and start there. Don't let being overwhelmed shut you down. I'm picking a square on campus and helping the worms back to the grass, and hopefully during the next rain, others will join me. And so that is what I learned from worms. Now, here's the second thing to remember. You can also learn a lot from a patty melt. Earlier this week, when I realized I had said yes to being the faculty rep for the graduation speech, I was feeling that overwhelming, wormy, dragging me down feeling again. The problem seemed too big. I had exams to write, exams to give, tons of grading, and a lot of meetings. So this is what I did. I cleaned my sidewalk square free of worms first. Then I went to a well-established restaurant in town and I ordered a shake, which is really like 2 shakes, and also a patty melt. I was the only customer at the time, which is something I also like. But imagine my surprise when my patty melt came and the bun was turned the wrong side out. The top was on the inside and so was the bottom. And I have great compassion for wait staff, so I didn't say anything, but I was crabby and a bit blue. And so I looked around, which I don't know why, I was the only one. And I was thinking, you've got to be kidding me. I'm the only one in here. And you slap this patty melt together so carelessly that the bun is turned the wrong way. That's so annoying. So I looked at both of my shakes and my patty melt, and I thought, this is sure turning into a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. But then something happened as I took one bite and then another. I noticed that it was much easier to hold a greasy patty melt with the bun like that. That the cook had perfectly buttered and toasted the outside, which was really the old inside of the bun, and that it actually was presented very nicely on my plate. And by the time I finished my patty melt, I decided that that was the best patty melt I had ever eaten, and that now I don't know why humans haven't been eating patty melts like that this whole time. So to the cook at Norm's News, my hat's off to you. And this is the second lesson. Assumptions often lead you down the wrong path. I thought everyone knew there was only one way for a bun to cover a burger, but I was wrong. So I'm suggesting the pause to everyone before making an assumption. I think the world would be better if we all did that. And don't be afraid to try new things. I learned this week there is more than one way to make a patty melt. And for the last lesson, my students sometimes laugh at things I say in class. And this semester, one of my phrases seemed to particularly tickle a few of the students, and I enjoyed it as well. So here is the third thing to remember. Chemistry doesn't care about your feelings. A student even made a sign of that quote, and she made it in the library's makerspace. So now I'm going to hang that in my office. But there will be times when your sidewalk is cleaned up, you've eaten a patty melt just the way you like it, and things will still not be going right. I don't know anyone who ages in this world that doesn't experience sorrow or tragedy or heartbreak at some time or another. But on the flip side, I also don't know anyone that at some point hasn't felt accomplishment or happiness or love. We know carbon dioxide dissolves in water, and it doesn't matter how you feel about it, that chemical reaction will happen, and it will change the pH of the water. It happens anyway because the solution is trying to reach equilibrium, whether you are happy or sad or angry or mad. So sometimes you can't solve the problem, or the problem is too big, or we don't have enough information yet. But what my hope for you is that you have learned the skills at FVCC to be a critical thinker, to find the information when you don't have it, to check your sources, to not make assumptions, to not give up, and to know when to ask a librarian for help. Artificial intelligence is all the rage right now, dominating the headlines, and I believe from what I'm hearing from some of the faculty behind me, a few of you tried it this semester. I decided to ask ChatGPT to write a short commencement speech about worms, patty melts, and chemistry. I was sure mine would be better with such a wide array of subject matter, but in less than 10 seconds, the artificial intelligence known as ChatGPT came up with these parting words. I'm going to use my best AI voice. I wish it was the Australian Siri voice, but it's not. Dear graduates, as you embark on this next chapter of your lives, I want to share a few words of wisdom that I hope will stick with you. Firstly, remember the humble worm. This creature may seem insignificant, but it plays a vital role in our ecosystem. It reminds us that every living being has a purpose, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. So never underestimate the power of your own contributions to the world. Secondly, never be afraid to indulge in a good patty melt. Life is about balance, and sometimes that means treating yourself to something delicious and indulgent. Remember to take the time to enjoy the little things in life and don't feel guilty about it. Finally, let's talk about chemistry, not just the science, but the chemistry between people. As you go out into the world, you'll meet all kinds of people with different backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences. Embrace this diversity and learn from those around you. Forge strong connections and relationships with the people in your life, and always be willing to listen and learn from them. And so from the faculty at FVCC and the AI at ChatGPT, remember the worm, enjoy the patty melt, and embrace the chemistry of life. Congratulations, graduates, and best of luck on your next adventure.
It is my honor to introduce tonight's commencement speaker. Mark Roscoe served as President and Chief Executive Officer of the American Insurance Association from 2005 to 2009. Prior to that, he was a partner at the law firm of Bracewell LLP from 2001 to 2005. He was governor of Montana from 1993 to 2001 and Montana's Attorney General from 1989 to 1993. Mr. Roscoe was nominated by President Bush and unanimously elected to serve as the chairman of the Republican National Committee from 2002 to 2003, prior to assuming the position of chairman of the Bush-Cheney Re-election Committee from 2003 to 2004. Prior to being elected Attorney General of Montana, Mr. Roscoe served as a prosecutor in the United States Army Judge Advocate General's Corps, as Deputy County Attorney for Missoula County, and as Assistant Attorney General and Special Prosecutor for the state of Montana. Throughout his career, Roscoe has been committed to children, education, and community issues. He was appointed to the Board of Directors of the Corporation for National and Community Service by President William Clinton, and has also served on the boards of Carroll College and the Lewis and Clark County United Way in Helena. Mr. Roscoe is a former chairman of Jobs for America's Graduates, a former member of the Board of Visitors of the University of Montana School of Law, and a past chairman of America's Promise, the Alliance for Youth, where his predecessor was Secretary of State Colin Powell. Mark Roscoe was born to Bill and Pat Roscoe on July 24th, 1948 in Thompson Falls, Montana, the oldest of 7 children. He graduated from Libby High School in 1966, Carroll College in 1970 with a degree in English, and the University of Montana School of Law in 1973. He married Teresa Barber, a Carroll student from Big Timber, Montana in 1970, and they have 5 children and 9 grandchildren. I have been very fortunate to work with Governor Roscoe. He is an individual of great integrity who respects those with different perspectives. While governor, he worked across the aisle, a good listener and excellent communicator. It is my great honor to introduce an individual who represents the Montana that was built by neighbors helping neighbors, putting aside their differences and working together to make this world a better place for all of us. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Mark Roscoe, former governor of the state of Montana.
Thank you, Dr. Karras, and thank you very, very much for the invitation to spend this time this evening in the graduating class, getting an opportunity to talk to the graduating class for just a moment. Jane Karras and I have worked together, known each other, been engaged in a variety of different enterprises over the last almost 30 years. And she is a most extraordinary and distinguished educator and leader. So to be invited by her on your behalf to be able to spend a little time with you this evening is a special privilege for me. I am delighted, as I mentioned, to have the privilege to be a small part of a very large and joyous day celebrating the graduation of the class of 2023. It was once observed that the secret to a good sermon is to have a good beginning and a good ending, and to have the two of them be as close together as possible. I'll try to remember that this evening with the hope of all of you that you will look at my brevity as being a graduation gift of sorts to each of you this evening. You know, when you have a chance to speak to people that you are connected to, and we all are in the state of Montana, the first thing that goes through your mind is, what could I possibly tell them that would be relevant to them, related to their individual lives, to the lives of their families? And I'm always reminded of a story that is true concerning relevance and relationships. I used to, on occasion, get invited to come to an elementary school or to the library in Helena to read to young kindergartners, typically kindergarten, first grade. And it was such a wonderful experience, full of so much innocence and curiosity, that I quickly would accept any invite that I ever received. And on one occasion, and this has to do with relevance, I assure you, I reported to the neighborhood center in Helena, and I was introduced to the class. And before we proceeded with any kind of storytelling or reading, there was a demonstration that was going to be provided for me to be able to witness all of the knowledge that had been accumulated by these young children through the presentation of one girl, a little girl. Her name was Lily, and she was quite charming. She had her hair in pigtails, and she looked absolutely wonderful. She had on her best dress, and she was quite joyous. And she walked up to the front of the room, and there was a little podium, and she said to me, demonstrating her knowledge, "There are 3 parts to the human body," she said. "First of all, there is the head, and that's where the brain is." And then she moved down and she said, "The second part is the chest, and that's where the heart is." And then she said, "And the third part is the stomach, and that's where your bowels are. And there are 5 bowels, A, E, I, O, and U." I have frequently been in the same position that Lily was in that day. The relationship was solid. The relevance of what it is that I've had to provide, not quite as much confirmed as what I would like it to be. So this time of year, of course, is such a special time. In Montana, we're gifted with a season full of promise and hope. It's a time of rebirth and anticipation. The days are longer, the nights are shorter, the earth is warming, the grass and the leaves are showing signs of green, and newly born calves are clinging close to their mothers in pastures all across the state of Montana. So it's entirely appropriate that we celebrate graduations in the spring, a commencement of new beginnings, new challenges, new possibilities, and new lives. I really have contemplated for quite a long period of time what might be relevant and useful to you, and what would be appropriate to share with the graduates and their loved ones today. I began with the understanding that very soon, if not already, you will inescapably, with your fellow citizens from an infinite number of different centers of interest and energy, be guiding and directing the future of our state and nation. And although each of you will be the ultimate judge, I made the decision myself that it was an appropriate moment to share with you some thoughts and some fears concerning the health of our democracy today, as well as a prognosis of its capacity to endure in the future should we leave it unattended. So I would like to be serious with you for a few moments this evening, and I want to plead with you at the end of the discussion that we have, and urge you to become engaged in the life of this country and of our democracy. After all, you're going to be leading the way for a very long time ahead of you. Now, last year, let's start with a context that hopefully is relevant to all of you. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of our 1972 Montana Constitution. In 2 months, we will mark the 247th birthday of our beloved country on July 4th. And then in September, follow that up with a remembrance that it was 235 years ago that the framers of the United States Constitution met in Independence Hall in Philadelphia for the express purpose of amending and improving the Articles of Confederation. I'm sure you all recall. Now, the Articles took 5 years to be considered, to be drafted, and ultimately what they provided for was a league of friendship. All very nice and tidy, but how do you run a country with only a league of friendship? What happened at the convention in 1787, which was called to amend the Articles, was something terribly different, quite different, and extraordinary. For at the end of 117 days, its delegates had agreed to go far beyond the amendments to the Articles of Confederation, and instead, they had crafted a constitution for the United States of America. For the first time in over 180 years since our first ancestors landed on the shores of Virginia, 180 years, we had been without our own government. And for the first time in the history of humankind, we had initiated a democracy that would live and function properly for 235 years. It was a miraculous turn of events, an accomplishment that really has been unparalleled in human history. Throughout the 117 days in the sweltering summer heat of 1787, the attending delegates met in the same room, hour after hour and day after day. There were rules of courtesy and procedure that were strictly observed by all, and the press was barred from attending the meetings. It is unmistakably clear, just like all of us here this evening, that the delegates were people of strong and independent views. It's one of the best things about the people of the state of Montana, is they have strong and independent views. But it is also unmistakably clear that in spite of those views, they also were setting about to work on consensus, to build consensus, realizing at the end of the day that they had to come to agreement or we would not have a nation. I don't believe I'm alone in feeling that we occupy a time of great turmoil and testing as a nation and a state. And that's where you come in. With all that has dramatically altered the political and social fabric of our lives in the last decade and a half, much for the worse in my judgment, I would confess that I sometimes feel like I'm diagonally parked in a parallel universe. Maybe the old adage is true, that inside every older person is a younger person, wondering what happened. But even though I understand the future is not the past, and I do, nonetheless, at this moment in time, it is undeniable that there are ominous and unmistakable warning signs all around us that our constitutional government, our republic, is at risk. Democracy is, all of you know, I'm certain, is critical to remember as well, is a voluntary association of individuals. It cannot be imposed upon us. We choose it. It's all undertaken with our consent, and we choose it every single day when we know that it's a dynamic institution, and it's always changing, and it should. As it can dynamically improve, it can also dynamically rot. Whether we stay or whether we leave, the choice is ours. But if we choose to stay, we pledge to live by and within the terms and spirit of our constitutions. Such is the transcendent duty and promise of every citizen. Now, upon the adjournment of the convention in 1787, Benjamin Franklin, the oldest member of the convention in his 80s, as he exited Freedom Hall, was asked, "Do we have a monarchy or a republic?" His response was prophetic. "You have a republic," he said, "if you can keep it." That remains, as it did in the beginning, the existential question of our time. It will remain forever in the life of our democracy, and that is, can we keep and will we keep our republic? The most probable way for our democracy to vanish is through the lack of honor and fidelity. Not surprisingly, that's precisely what's required by our constitutional oath of office. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Montana, that I will discharge the duties of my office and my citizenship with fidelity. Now, what did the framers of our federal and state constitutions, 185 years apart, intend when they chose fidelity to be the principle that provides guidance for all of us as citizens? And what is this fidelity which we hear recited, but in all probability have rarely stopped to thoughtfully or thoroughly consider? In a word, it's faithfulness. Faithfulness to the preservation of our union. Faithfulness to our fellow citizens. Faithfulness to a cause. Faithfulness to a shared set of values. And faithfulness to the rule of law. The fidelity referred to in our oath presumes not just faithfulness to the actual words of our Constitution, but faithfulness to its spirit as well. A spirit recognized by our humility, our respect for the rights of others, decency, integrity, honor, self-discipline, and common courtesy. Fidelity is the exact opposite of seeking power for its own sake. Fidelity, we know, given up, leads to nothing more than a fool's errand. History has revealed such time and time again. Without accepting, embracing, and discharging one's duties guided by fidelity, the duties we all have as citizens, it is inevitable that the life of our republic will, over time, like grains of sand passing through an hourglass, be at risk. Because it depends on our consent and our choice that we make every single day to live with each other in union from which springs liberty. But it depends on all of us. And it's going to depend more on you than it has on me, especially now as I'm about ready to be put out to pasture. So be prepared, be willing, grapple with it, and come to grips with how you conduct your life as a citizen. A people who cannot talk to or listen to each other, who do not respect each other, who will not sincerely consider the thoughts of each other, who do not trust each other, and who cannot reason with each other, cannot long live in freedom. Many of us in this room grew up in an America as it used to be, one of the world's most stubbornly civil societies and cultures, where being a neighbor meant more than merely living next door to another family. Throughout our growing up years and into adulthood and a new millennium, we shared a positive attitude about life, about neighbors, about families, and about values. We suspected the best of each other until proven wrong, not the reverse, a sort of presumption of innocence and good faith that was accorded from the beginning and instinctively one to another. Contrast that with the awkward, thoughtless, poisonous, and frequently inaccurate or false public communications of today, where just for one example, 360,000 tweets a minute are instantaneously dispatched and received at warp speed every minute of every hour of every day. That's how much of the country and much of the world talks to each other these days. It's dizzying, it's vacuous, and it's perilous. It seems almost impossible to me sometimes to manage the noise, to control the flood of unverified and frequently inaccurate information and communications, always conceived, it seems, in rage and competition, and then once dispatched, regretted, because all of that hateful piffle is now a matter of public record. How is it that we stop this runaway train as it picks up speed and leaves so much disaster and destruction along the way? And we are each and every one of us involved in making certain that happens. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not so old that I don't have an appreciation for the internet. It's a marvelous creation in so many ways, but it has also strained and stunted our social existence, especially our political affairs, with irresponsible and baseless suggestions of the existence of circumstances and situations that have no basis in fact. What the framers of our federal and state constitutions, 185 years apart, what did they intend to move in that direction? I don't think so. We have to, all of us, bring more discipline, integrity, and sensitivity to our communications and our comments, individually and collectively, to fulfill the requirements of fidelity to one another, fidelity to the cause of freedom, and fidelity to our shared belief in the future of our country and state. The alternative is to witness our way of life being torn apart at the seams. It's really not a big ask. I'm not suggesting, as an aging senior citizen, hopelessly for a return to simpler times. I'm calling hopefully for a return to simple, timeless, and enduring values, presuming the best of each other, listening in good faith before acting or responding, exuding generosity and grace, seeing and hearing with our hearts as well as our eyes and ears, self-correcting our own mistakes, and being ambitious to accomplish something, not merely to be somebody. Sadly, we hear so much about our divisions. We're conditioned by the modern media to think that we have very little in common as a nation and as a people. But I believe the majority of the American people are tired of those intramural wars, where all sides emphasize only their divisions with the hope of having them magnified and instantaneously scattered across the landscape, courtesy of the internet and the propaganda then incessantly purveyed by political hucksters of both political parties. Demand more as citizens. Ask for more. Give more than that to those you live with. As one precocious Montanan told me, at an 8th grade graduation, her 8th grade graduation in Biddle, Montana. I don't know how many of you have been to Biddle, but if you get anywhere close, don't miss it. She said, you know, we are not different groups of people in America. We are, she said, one group of different Americans. One group of different Americans. Wouldn't it serve us all well to remember that? So we've got serious problems in this country and state. They're serious and they demand your attention, but they are solvable when we work together. So let us abandon the solitary and fruitless search for power and control and get on about fixing our problems and taking care of one another with fidelity. So help us God. Good night.
Thank you, Governor Mark Roscoe. Will the candidates for the Associates of Arts, the Associates of Science, Associate of Applied Science, and certificates please stand? Dr. Karras, on behalf of the faculty and Flathead Valley Community College, I am pleased to present these candidates for the associate's degrees and certificates.
By the virtue of the authority of the Board of Trustees of Flathead Valley Community College, by law and upon recommendation of the faculty, I confer the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, the Associate of Applied Science degrees and certificates upon those who have successfully completed all fields in the requirements indicated. Will the marshals please escort the graduates to the stage?
Nikki Faith McMillan, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management, Certificate of Technical Studies, Entrepreneurship with honors. Accepting on her behalf is her faculty advisor, Brenda Rudolph. Raina Santner, Associate of Science. Jacob Kai Anderson, Associate of Applied Science, Information Technology and Security. Macy Marie Anderson, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Education with honors. Mason Lee Brubaker, Associate of Applied Science, Programming and Game Development. Zoe Bowen, Associate of Arts, Substance Abuse Counseling with honors. Aiden Theodore Bash, Associate of Science. Michael Stanton Bruner, Associate of Applied Science, Culinary Arts and Catering with honors. Elise Catherine Bird, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Juliana Louise Bird, Associate of Applied Science, Culinary Arts and Catering. Wesley Luke Brewski, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology. Zachary Carl Cole, Associate of Applied Science, Firearms Technologies with honors. Charles Clinton Case, Certificate of Technical Studies, HVAC Apprentice with honors. Grace Lorraine Cockrell, Associate of Science.
Kate Leanne Combs, Associate of Applied Science, Natural Resources Conservation and Management, Associate of Science. Taryn Cothern, Associate of Science. Jessica Lynn Culver, Associate of Science. Megan Elizabeth Cloud, Associate of Applied Science, Medical Laboratory Technology with honors. Jacob Michael Campbell, Associate of Applied Science, Firearms Technologies. Bailey Marie Charlesworth, Associate of Applied Science, Surgical Technology, Associate of Science. Destiny Cheyenne Rebecca Docks, Associate of Arts. Jessica Lind Dorbend, Associate of Applied Science, Business Administration, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management, Associate of Science, Certificate of Applied Science, Entrepreneurship with honors. Jill L. Dutcher, Associate of Applied Science, Goldsmithing and 3D Jewelry Design with honors. Thaylee Dugan, Associate of Applied Science, Business Administration. Joey Jamez Devin Dominguez, Certificate of Technical Studies, Welding Technology. Brennan Griffin Evans, Associate of Applied Science, Electrical Technology. Hannah A. Edwards, Certificate of Applied Science, Medical Assistant. Laramie Richard Ernsberger, Associate of Science.
Azel Ayers, Associate of Arts with honors. Peyton William Fields, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. R. Weston Farr, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management with honors. Bridget Frey, Associate of Applied Science, Integrated Agriculture and Food Systems. Daniel Mark Glines, Associate of Applied Science, Firearms Technologies with honors. Michael David Garcia, Associate of Applied Science, Firearms Technologies. Sierra Anne Marie Griffith, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Josie Montana Grant, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology with honors. Rihanna Marie Grise, Associate of Arts, Substance Abuse Counseling. Bella Sky Goodson, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science. Brittany Deanne Hutton, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Drake Theron Henderson, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Lydia Janice Hadley, Associate of Science with honors. Colton Daniel Halverson, Associate of Science with honors. Cooper Owen Hobby, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Tyler Rick Hansen, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology.
Isaac Trent Haskins, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology with honors. Jennifer Marie Vizdak, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design with honors. Elizabeth Carol Hyde, Associates of Arts. Aaliyah Nicole Ines Smith, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Juniper Joe Isaac, Associate of Arts with honors. Taryn Marie Iddings, Associate of Arts. Elena M. Jorgensen, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Education. Terrell Lee Jackson, Associate of Applied Science, Goldsmithing and 3D Jewelry Design, Certificate of Applied Science, Goldsmithing and 3D Jewelry Design with honors. Amber Marjorie James, Associate of Arts. Jesse Charles Jones, Associate of Applied Science, Electrical Technology. Isabel Shea Capin, Associate of Science with honors. Isabel Nicole Klempel, Associate of Applied Science, Surgical Technology. Hulda Monique Kimbrell, Associate of Arts with honors. Erin B. Locklear, Associate of Science. Kayla Ann Lane, Certificate of Applied Science, Medical Assistant. Charles Philip Lundberg, Associate of Science with honors. Mariah Johnston, Associate of Science, Nursing.
Kevin Michael Larshad. Juliana Hazel McPherson, Certificate of Technical Studies, Welding Technology. Timber J.D. McCracken, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Ryder J. Mindy, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Cole David McNeil, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Aiden Orion McFadden, Certificate of Technical Studies, Welding Technology with honors. John Thaddeus Middlemore, Associate of Applied Science, Electrical Technology. Laramie Capri McKenzie, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Denise Ann Martin, Associate of Arts. Kristen Renee Martin, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Education. Sadie Jo Miller, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Education. Josie Lane Motichka, Associate of Science, Nursing. Abigail Taylor Morgan, Associate of Science, Nursing with honors. Keegan Robert Mackenstadt, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management, Certificate of Applied Science, Entrepreneurship. Josh O'Brien McNo, Associate of Applied Science, Natural Resources Conservation and Management with honors. Jasper McRae, Associate of Science with honors.
Stetson Lane Miller, Associate of Applied Science, Electrical Technology, Associate of Science, Certificate of Applied Science, Electronics Technician. Connor J. McCall, Associate of Applied Science, Firearms Technologies. Piper Bray Miller, Associate of Science. Alexa Rain Martinez Wood, Associate of Applied Science, Culinary Arts and Catering. Tyler McCormick, Associates of Art. Aliyah Islamovina Nigmatzia Anova, Associate of Arts. Blake Renee Nostrant, Associate of Science, Nursing. Alexandra Grace Nanali, Associate of Arts. Cody Christopher Michael Orvis, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Grace Ryan Osler, Associate of Science. Alyssa Ray Olivey, Associate of Science. Ted Williams Olson, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology, Certificate of Technical Studies, Firearms Technology. Ella Rose Pfeiffer, Associate of Arts with Honors. Carolyn Marie Peterson, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design. Jessica Lynn Quillen, Associate of Science. Antonio B. Reyna, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Trey Jonathan Rice, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology with Honors. Richard Ulrich Rothermel, Certificate of Technical Studies, Welding Technology.
Seda Elise Ramsey, Associate of Arts with Honors. Paul Allen Roberts, Certificate of Technical Studies, Firearms Technologies with Honors. Porter William Sorensen, Associate of Applied Science, Firearms Technologies. Terrell C. Stump, Certificate of Technical Studies, Electrical Apprentice. Jonathan Joshua Sappington, Associate of Applied Science, Web Technology with Honors. Ashlyn Rose Sherati, Associate of Arts with Honors. Abigail Elizabeth Small, Associate of Science. Serena Catherine Smith, Associate of Science. Curtis Smith, Associate of Science, Nursing. Raymond Jean Scouten Holt, Certificate of Technical Studies, Welding Technology. Danelle Marie Surchek, Associate of Arts with Honors. Liam Stoddard, Associate of Arts. Bree Nicole Shadow, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design. Olivia Mason Thomas, Associate of Arts. Leanna Lynn Troche, Associate of Arts, Substance Abuse Counseling with honors. Mary Turman, Associate of Arts with honors. Isaac Michael Lonnie Taves, Associate of Science. Trayson Gage Torpin, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology.
Portia Lynn Taylor, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Heidi Johanna Vanneman, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management, Certificate of Applied Science, Entrepreneurship. Jenna Marie Van, Associate of Science, Nursing. Mackenzie Ray Wilson, Associate of Applied Science, Culinary Arts and Catering with honors. Heather L. Wicks, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Education. Amber Lisa Walters, Associate of Science. Cody Ryan Williamson, Certificate of Technical Studies, Welding Technology. Carly Ray Williamson, Associate of Arts with honors. CL Nicole Williams, Associate of Applied Science, Goldsmithing and 3D Jewelry Design with honors. David Thomas Wickwire IV, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. James Richard Wheeler, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology. Miley Renee Windhauer, Associate of Applied Science, Surgical Technology. Annabelle Young, Associate of Applied Science, Goldsmithing and 3D Jewelry Design, Certificate of Applied Science, Goldsmithing and 3D Jewelry Design with honors. Congratulations, graduating class of 2023. Thank you, parents, friends, and family, for your support of your students throughout their education at FVCC and for your attendance today. Please remain in your places until the marshals have escorted our faculty, staff, and graduates from the hall. Thank you again for attending FVCC's graduation ceremony.